All right, so today we're diving into something that's pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It's this company, halfpay.com.
Mm-hmm.
They're making some serious waves over the Indian retail market.
Definitely shaking things up.
And I think a lot of people are wondering, can they actually reach that multi-billion-dollar valuation?
Right.
Like, is this hype or is this the real deal?
Yeah, big question.
So to get to the bottom of this, we've got this document. It's titled halfpay.com, Revolutionizing the Indian Retail Market.
Kitschy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, some of the stuff in here is pretty mind-blowing. So maybe you can start us off here. What's so captivating about halfpay.com?
Well, I think what's really interesting is how they're not just trying to be another e-commerce site.
Right.
They're really going for something much bigger, like a total game changer for the average Indian shopper.
Right.
And their name kind of says it all, right?
HalfPay.
HalfPay.
Yeah.
We're talking guaranteed discounts on like everything, starting at a minimum of 50% off, sometimes even hitting 90%.
Oh, whoa, hold on.
It's wild.
50 to 90% off.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Pretty much.
I mean, I love a good sale as much as the next person, but that's unheard of.
It's pretty remarkable.
Especially when you compare it to like what we see on Amazon, Flipkart.
Yeah.
Even those quick commerce apps. Like,
right.
How is that even sustainable?
Well, that's where their model gets really, really interesting. They've kind of cracked the code on what they're calling a hyper-localized quick commerce model.
All right. Break that down for me.
So think of it this way.
Okay.
Instead of building these massive warehouses like, Amazon does.
Right, yeah.
They're partnering directly with local wholesalers and established retail stores.
Interesting.
All over India.
Okay.
So basically, these become their mini fulfillment centers spread across the entire country.
So they're basically turning the existing retail network into their own distributed warehouse system.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty ingenious.
That's pretty clever, actually.
Yeah.
But how is this different from, say, Zepto or Blinkit?
Good question.
Which also focus on these super quick deliveries.
So you've hit upon a key difference there. Those platforms, while they are really speedy, they mainly deal with groceries, essentials,
Right.
HalfPay.com is going after a much broader range of products. Like we're talking clothing, home goods, electronics, you name it.
Wow. So it's they're bringing that online convenience to things that people traditionally would just buy in physical stores.
Exactly.
And they're doing it with over 30 different delivery partners across India.
It's a huge operation.
I see how they're pulling this off. I mean, they're connecting local supply and demand in a way that's just incredibly efficient.
And very cost effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to reach that multi-billion-dollar valuation, their financials have got to be rock solid.
They do.
I mean, how are they making money when they're offering these crazy discounts?
So their profitability really comes down to two key areas.
Okay.
One, super lean operations, and two, a very vendor-friendly approach. So because they don't have the overhead of those giant warehouses,
right,
their operational costs are super low, shockingly low.
Like, what are we talking?
We're talking 2% of their turnover.
2%?
2%. Seriously. Yeah, it's almost unheard of in the e-commerce world.
I mean, most companies I know are struggling to keep those costs under control.
Exactly, and that's just one part of it.
Okay.
The other piece is their commission structure.
Okay.
They're charging vendors between 15 and 20%, which is incredibly attractive, especially compared to some of the other platforms out there.
Yeah.
So this does two things, right? It ensures healthy profit margins for halfpay.com.
Gotcha.
But it also really incentivizes those strong partnerships with suppliers because they're getting a good deal too.
It's a win-win, right?
Exactly.
The vendors get access to this huge customer base without having to manage their own online presence and all that.
Right, right.
And halfpay.com gets to offer these amazing prices while still being profitable. But are they targeting everyone with these deals?
So not exactly.
Or is there a specific audience they're going after?
There is, yeah. They're laser focused on India's middle class.
Okay.
Which is huge, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
We're talking over 300 million people.
That's a lot of shoppers.
And they're all about value, right? They want good quality products, but they're not going to pay inflated prices.
They're savvy shoppers.
Exactly. So halfpay.com's model, it just fits perfectly with that mindset.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, they're tapping into this massive demographic.
A huge market.
That's always on the lookout for a good deal.
Absolutely. Everyone loves a bargain.
But do we have any like real world examples of how this is actually playing out?
Yeah, actually, there's a really interesting one in the document. We talk about this well-known retail store.
Yeah.
It's in Antiri, which is a suburb of Mumbai. So before halfpay.com came along, this store was pretty much limited to their local customer base.
Right.
But now, because of this partnership, they can offer their products at those incredible discounts
Yeah.
to shoppers all across the city.
Wow. So it's like giving every brick and mortar store
Yeah,
a nationwide reach,
exactly. It's a game changer for these businesses.
especially for those that are struggling to compete in like the whole digital age.
I mean, this is the future of retail, really.
This is fascinating stuff, but can they actually scale this model?
Yeah, that's the big question.
I mean, India's a huge country.
It is, yeah, but they're pretty tech savvy. They're using AI-driven personalization in a big way.
Okay, how so?
So their platform analyzes user behavior, like shopping patterns,
Right.
and then it curates these personalized deals and recommendations.
Oh, that's
So it's not just about low prices, it's about making sure the right deals are reaching the right people at the right time.
right. But can this level of personalization really keep up as they expand, especially into like the tier 2 and tier 3 cities
Yeah.
where e-commerce hasn't really taken off yet?
You know, that's actually where their model shines, because those smaller cities, those are like the next frontier for e-commerce growth in India.
I guess that makes sense.
And halfpay.com is really well positioned to like capitalize on that because their model doesn't require them to build expensive infrastructure in every new city.
Right, right.
They're basically plugging into those existing retail networks.
Which are already there.
Exactly, which are already well established in those areas.
This is starting to sound incredibly promising, but
It is exciting.
let's get down to like the brass tacks here.
Okay, yeah,
You want to understand halfpay.com's potential, right?
of course.
For that multi-billion-dollar valuation,
That's the big question.
can they actually back up these claims with some solid numbers?
That's where the rubber meets the road, right?
Exactly.
So, India's retail market, it's projected to hit $1.3 trillion by 2025.
That's a massive number.
Massive, yeah.
I mean, even capturing a small slice of that
Right.
would mean huge revenue for halfpay.com.
Exactly. And their projections are really ambitious.
Okay, lay 'em on me. What kind of revenue we're talking about?
So they're projecting 500 crores in their first year alone, and then scaling up to 10,000 crores within 5 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Those are some pretty impressive figures.
they are. Yeah.
But how realistic are those numbers?
Mhm.
I mean, especially given the competitive landscape, right?
So you have to remember their low operational costs
Right.
and their healthy profit margins. That really puts them in a strong position.
Okay.
Plus, you know, they're operating in a market where e-commerce penetration,
Yeah,
it's
that-
still pretty low.
Compared to like developed countries?
Exactly.
Right,
So
right.
the growth potential is just enormous.
So they're basically saying they can hit these numbers
Yeah.
because they're doing things differently,
Right.
more efficiently.
More efficiently.
And they're tapping into a market that's just ripe for disruption.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, but how does all of this translate into their valuation?
Okay, so based on industry standards and those projected growth numbers,
Yeah.
their valuation could reach 6,750 crores
Okay,
in just their first year of operation.
gotcha.
And then by year 3, that number could skyrocket to 54,000 crores.
Wait, did you just say 54,000 crores?
54,000 crores, which is over $6 billion US dollars.
That's more than some of the biggest names in Indian retail.
It's a big number.
I mean, are we really suggesting that this company could reach that level
Yeah.
in just a few years?
I mean, that's the potential we're looking at.
Wow.
Project